So the aspect that I touched upon in my presentation is achieving a patient-physician partnership to improve clinical outcomes for myeloma patients. As you keep going to congresses over the last year or two, what we now find is a number of therapeutic agents for myeloma, which we use effectively in combination, which leads to quite substantial remissions and sustained remissions. But what is almost taken on face value is that all these combinations could be given to our patients. And a number of people think that cost will be the limiting factor, but I think there's much more than cost. And what it is we need to engage with our patients much better and develop partnerships with our patients to get them to take these therapies. Myeloma patients tend to be elderly, and to try and keep them on triplet combinations for much longer period of time, more than 1 year, is going to be difficult. And for that, we need to find platforms where we engage with our patients, listen to our patients more, and give patients control to develop a long-term relationship to improve clinical outcomes. So, for example, what you could do is you could move into a telephone consultation. And that works very well. Certainly at Oxford, we've started doing telephone consultations with our patients, and patients, although initially are quite reluctant to engage, but then when they start to do more and more of this, they actually feel that it achieves what has been achieved in a face-to-face consultation before. And in actual fact, they, in their own home surroundings, tend actually to open up a bit more and engage with us, talking more about side effects, because I think it's a side effect management which is crucial to keep patients on long-term therapy. I think we have to engage the family members as well, but what we as the healthcare community need to do is to teach patients how to engage their family members as well. So these again are things that have not been thought through properly. For example, you could have a focus group, particularly for patients who have been on therapy for over 2 years, and you could have an hour discussion about what's the value of staying on therapy for longer term for the patient and also for the carers as well. So these are areas, newer areas, which were completely untouched, and I think that's what we're walking into. Rather than let it hit us, we need to plan effectively ahead and find out what are the different tools that we can develop to give ourselves the tools to engage with our patients better. I think it is very important to recognize that what works very well longer term is the shared partnership. I do recognize a large number of our myeloma patients, because they're elderly and they've been brought up very much in the old school way of walking into healthcare, you know what's best for me, doctor. But I have to say that doesn't work after a period of a year or two. So even in those patients, you have to find ways and means of actually getting them a bit more engaged in their therapy. Again, as I say, these are new areas that we are stepping into myeloma. I don't necessarily claim that we've got the tools, but what we need to be thinking about is what are the different things that we can do to try and get the patients a bit more empowered about managing the treatment themselves, and how do we actually do that for them is what we need to do. That's absolutely a pertinent question. That being said, this is just reflecting on what happens in the UK. Myeloma UK charity has got a great website with all the right tools for the patients, and patients increasingly understand that rather than just browsing the web, going into Myeloma UK website, they get a lot more information, or more information channeled to them specifically. But then moving outside of very broad information, we need more specific information. I think that's where the specificity becomes key. Tailored information, individualized information. And that's where, if you developed a web-based platform where your patient actually logs in at home and puts in their data, or meaning how they feel, and fill out questionnaires, and you're actually able to tailor and put messages in about key information that you want them to read at home at their own leisure, such as a new trial information or a new safety alert about a certain drug and so on, that is very powerful. That is very individualized, and that is very tailor-made. And I think that's what we need to be moving towards. Very tailored, and patient knows that they can just log in and get the information. And seamlessly, if you can get clinical information such as blood results and everything through, patients will start to track their progress. Then it makes more sense about staying on therapy, rather than the physician often rattling about, we have to keep you in remission, stop relapse. It all starts to make sense. So I think that's what we're moving towards. I don't think there's one single solution. I think there are lots of solutions out there available. We in Oxford are looking at Patient Knows Best platform, and we're trying to work with the company to try and tailor a platform which works for our myeloma patients. So the point is specific tailored information with both patient and the physician interacting in a web-based interface.